This changes everything for the Boston Celtics as we have a huge report from Shams surrounding Jaylen Brown, as in very surprising fashion. We have a major injury update surrounding Brown that no one saw coming. We're going to write down exactly what that is, but also discuss some new reports that have dropped surrounding a trade update regarding the Celtics and Jaylen Brown in particular, and discuss how this new update changes everything going forward for the trade market for the Boston Celtics and Brad Stevens' plans going forward. There's a ton to go over today, folks, but before we get into it all, you guys have been absolute beasts with the support, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the daily Celtics content. Thank you guys for continuing support over here. Ladies and gentlemen, in surprising fashion, we have a brand new report that has dropped from Shams, from the Celtics themselves, and it is surrounding a Jaylen Brown surgery that, no one saw coming, at least today. We didn't expect this to drop today. And let's drop right into the news right now. You can see this here. Boston Celtics, Shams tweeted it at first, and then, of course, the Boston Celtics official account followed up. Today underwent a successful right knee surgery procedure. He's expected to participate in training camp without limitation. So a bunch to go over here today. Now, so Jaylen Brown was hurt, right? And we'll dive into what happened in the playoffs, all these different things surrounding that. But what we do know now, what's most important, is that Jaylen Brown just underwent surgery. So we have both the JTs injured as of this moment. Now, the good news for Jaylen Brown is that he is going to be back and fully available at training camp, right? That's the big piece of information here. He's going to be good to go without limitation for training camp, 100% healthy, at least in theory. But there is some big implications that this has going forward, because and if you're unfamiliar with what injury we're talking about here, Ramona Shelburne reported during the playoffs or after the season as well that he was dealing with a right knee, discomfort, some, injury there, and that he was playing through it, of course, trying to win a, championship with the Boston Celtics, of course. But now that's been essentially confirmed. Clearly, he was dealing with something. So the first time we can kind of have, a confirmation surrounding that, of course, injury that Ramona Shelburne was alluding to following the season, but also he underwent surgery, and this is actually good news overall, and it is very good news simply because of the fact that he got it done so early now in the offseason. I mean, the NBA Finals aren't even over yet, that the Beast is going to be available without limitation once training camp starts. So this was the best way to go about it, especially with, Jayson Tatum expected to miss the majority of next season, if not all of next season. Having Jaylen Brown available is going to be crucial, but it does limit some interesting things, because what happened yesterday is we got a trade report from Evan Sitteri saying there's a sense among rival teams that Jaylen Brown is not completely untouchable on the Celtics roster. It would take a mammoth offer for Boston to even consider trading Brown, but the possibility certainly appears to be in play. So this is interesting because there hasn't been a ton of Jaylen Brown trade talks as of late. Of course, there's been a ton of Kristaps Porziņģis, a ton of Jrue Holiday, because they need to get rid of some of their contracts, they need to get under the luxury tax, new ownership, all these different things that we're well aware of, right? And if you aren't, well, of course, they have to get under the luxury tax. For Jaylen Brown, there's been an increase, at least lately, amount of trade rumors for him. And then this big report drops from Evan Sitteri saying that rival teams are saying themselves that Jaylen Brown isn't necessarily untouchable. And that is very interesting. Now, if you're and let me know in the comment section, do you want the Celtics to trade Jaylen Brown, or do you want them to keep Jaylen Brown? But regardless of what side you are on right now, this, I guess hurts his value, at least for the immediate future. Because if he hadn't undergone surgery and there was no confirmation that he was injured, of course, there was a rumor from Ramona Shelburne, all these different things, then you probably could have traded him. Now, he's still available to get traded, of course, and he's going to be available without limitation for training camp, but it definitely is going to be scaring some teams away if the Celtics decide to go that route. Now, do I think they're going to go the route of trading Jaylen Brown? Probably not, right? I don't think that's necessarily the most likely outcome at this point. I think there's a much higher outcome they trade some of the other guys. But you have to go with the reports here, and he's not completely untouchable if they get a mammoth offer back. And there's been some rumblings. Now, you can see this here. This was an article that dropped recently. Jaylen Brown on the trading block. Will a mammoth offer reshape the Boston Celtics' destiny? And there's been some rumors about the Orlando Magic and a bunch of different teams. And I want to bring this up. Now, again, I'm going to preface it by saying I don't think this is likely, but I want to see what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section. Would you do this deal? Would you not? And following the new reports surrounding Jaylen Brown, would you consider trading him now at this point? So the trade is Orlando Magic get Jaylen Brown. The Celtics get Jonathan Isaac, Anthony Black, Mo Wagner, a 2028 first-round pick, a 2030 first-round pick. So you're getting 2 first-round picks, a decent prospect in Anthony Black and Jonathan Isaac. I don't think this is enough for Jaylen Brown, but you can see the explanation. Here, the Magic capitalized on the Celtics' dire financial straits by plucking Brown and his remaining $236 million. When it comes to Orlando, most searches for offensive help focus on point guards and spot-up shooters. Those type of players will certainly help improve an offense that needs snipers and playmakers, but Brown is a legitimate star, one proven he already can perform at a championship level. Of course, won the championship last season. Again, if the Celtics want to go, I don't think they're going to go about shedding salary by trading Jaylen Brown. If they want to fully blow it up and then play for, Jayson Tatum the following season, maybe this is something they entertain. I don't think this deal is it, though, unfortunately. However, I think there's a much higher chance to get rid of, Kristaps Porziņģis, Jrue Holiday, those guys. But you are getting some decent assets back. But the point of this is, according to Evan Sitter, it would take a mammoth offer. I'm thinking multiple first-round picks. We know Jaylen Brown is a fairly young, he's not old, winner. He has won a championship. He has helped lead a championship team, being arguably, one of the best players on the team in a championship winner alongside Jayson Tatum. It would take a mammoth offer. You pair that with the injury now, I think if anything, it makes a trade less likely for Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics because other teams are going to be a bit more wary. Hey, what is this injury? What was he actually dealing with? What if he does have lingering effects? What if that, lingers into our trade? If we make a trade for him, what if that lingers into training camp? There's too many ifs, I think, at this point. And we know how good Jaylen Brown is, right? He is a star. He is a superstar. Bit of a down season last year, but of course, that's box score counting. The whole team was a little bit, once the playoffs hit, it was unfortunate anyways. This isn't the mammoth offer I was expecting necessarily, but at the same time, it's very interesting. And the Celtics do have a fairly, uncertain future in some ways. You can see here the potential trade of Jaylen Brown underscores the delicate balance the Celtics must maintain as they navigate their future. The decision to trade a player of Brown's caliber is not taken lightly and reflects the broader challenges faced by teams striving for sustained success. Basically, this article is yapping, but it's talking about specifically the luxury tax that the Celtics are facing. They need to shed salary. That is a very clear thing they need to do. They could do so in the form of Jaylen Brown. They could also do so in a more realistic form of a Kristaps Porziņģis trade elsewhere, Brooklyn Nets, some teams like that, the Warriors maybe even, whatever it ends up being. They don't need to trade Jaylen Brown. And I think now that this injury has been undergone and done successfully, I don't think that it's a likely outcome that they at least trade him right now. But you can't deny the reports that rival teams think that he's not completely untouchable, which is extremely interesting. Again, a fantastic player. And you look at the depth chart, this is going to be the starting lineup next year, kind of. Al Horford, let's assume he returns. You have Jaylen Brown, Derrick White, you'll factor in for sure. Jrue Holiday, Kristaps, three out of the five starters on a normal, healthy championship Celtics team are not going to be for sure back. Tatum injured, Kristaps probably gone, Jaylen Brown, probably going to stay. Jrue Holiday, maybe he's probably going to be on the trade block as well, depending on what trade they take. You could see both of them going out. Sam Hauser, is he going to return? We don't know yet at this point. He could be gone as well. Maybe they make some things work and return. Peyton Pritchard's going to be back. He probably starts in the starting lineup. Derrick White, he's going to return. The team's going to be interesting. But with these injuries now that are happening, the good news is he's going to be healthy. But it does change everything as it pertains to both the trade market, the way that this team looks, and he might have a slowed down training camp. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. And let me know this ridiculous Magic trade proposal. Would you do a deal like this? Things are picking up quickly. We're going to keep you up to date. You guys are beasts. Cheers.